And good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the very first new distributor training for 2020. My name is Fred Holmes. I'm an independent distributor with Zija International. Welcome to my home office. And excited to be able to participate in this training with you this morning. The notice went out, the Facebook posting, some of you on my email list, you got that. This is the very first new distributor training for 2020. We do this every Saturday, but it's without question going to be the most important training that I've personally delivered in the, where are we at now? I think 12 years or so that I've been with Zija International, and you'll understand why I say this training will be the most important training of a decade by the time we're through this morning. So welcome to all of you. Excited to see so many of you, of our tenured distributors, a number of our relatively new distributors and up and rising stars. There's always some new people that join us on these trainings that maybe really haven't yet made a decision to get involved, and certainly you're welcome as well. We want you to be fully aware of the fact that in our enterprise, one of the greatest values of this type of business, home-based business, network marketing, multi-level marketing, lots of terms that are used for it, is the opportunity to start in a business you have no experience with, and instead of having to go through the learning curve of many, many years, to be able to work with people, many people that have been able to learn the, if you will, the secrets of what it takes to build a business from home, marketing world-class products, and to create the leverage that comes from this type of business model, being able to have other people join you in your business and create that leverage. Some of you may have participated in the Thursday night business presentation we did here 2 days ago with David Moses. You're going to want, if you didn't do that, you're going to want to listen to that broadcast. The YouTube channel, and you first of all got to grab your journal. Okay, this is going to be very important information I share with you. Grab your journal so you can take some notes. The YouTube channel that we're posting our Saturday morning trainings on, that we're doing the posting the business presentations. If you go to youtube.com/Fred Holmes Zija, you will see all of those videos archived there. Matter of fact, I'll just put that in the chat box. Those of you that are on your mobile device, tap your screen, you'll see the little icons show up, and if you tap the little bubble window, you'll see the information that other people are posting there. We're going to go to www.youtube.com/Fred Holmes Zija. Okay, there you go. So you do that. Now, today, I'm going to cover the game plan. That was what was in the notice. Cover the game plan for 2020. I want to preface that by kind of sharing with you why this is so important, why this is, probably will be the most important training of the year that of a decade that I've been with this company, and why it's so important to you. This year, 2020, it's a pivotal year for Zija International. This company has been in development for a number of years. Our official launch date of Zija International was November of 2005. And so, about 14 years the company's been in existence. And I want to put that in perspective with you from my personal experience in the industry. When I first got involved back in the mid-'80s in network marketing, I was a cross-country truck driver looking for a way to create, financial security and frankly, a financial abundance. I had a special needs son. I was going to be responsible as he headed to school to funding the special resources that were going to be necessary for him. I literally spent way more money than the average person spends going to college on my son's education in the first few years of his education. The public school system wasn't going to provide for them. So I had to figure out how to make, 4 or 5 times what a truck driver made. But I also needed to figure out how to find time freedom to be with him, to have flexibility in my day-to-day schedule. And this profession in network marketing, not only did it fulfill on all of those promises, many other things have happened since then that I could never have anticipated 35 years ago that were going to happen. And this concept of being able to build a business from home at your own pace, to be able to start part-time, grow it to a level of income that you desire. For many other people, it could be to have a full-time income, or maybe go well beyond that. Those kinds of things were what I was looking for. And, my very first company, I'll give you a little history here. My very first company had grown rapidly, like a lot of these companies do. But after its 5th year, it crashed. And frankly, that's a story that many of you have experienced if you've been involved in the industry. You're excited about a company, they get going, and a few years later, they're gone. This particular company provided some of the finest training that has ever existed. I see Eric just raised his hand and said, yeah, been there, did that one, right? Signed up for that company. Thank you, Eric, for sharing that. That unfortunately, that happens all the time. It's one of the reasons why when I retired after 10 years in the industry, it took, a number of years before I was willing to come out of retirement and join another company. Not because I didn't like network marketing. I love this profession, but I wasn't willing to be part of a company that was going to be around for a while and gone and have to go do another one and do it, rebuild. That first company took them 7 years to get back to where they were when they crashed. Okay, there was some mismanagement. I'm not going to go into the whole story. The point is, though, that company had meteoric rise. It crashed, and as a result of the training that was available at that company, they were able to bring themselves back after 7 years to where they had. And by the way, that company today has now been in business 40 years, and last year did over $4 billion in sales. And frankly, had I had the time to a 7-year period of time to wait for the growth of that company, or the resurgence of that company, I'd probably still be with them. I didn't have that time. Okay, I had a very short window of opportunity. I utilized the training that I got from that first company, which is frankly the foundation of everything I share here on new distributor training and the training videos that I've posted on the YouTube channel, to join a second company. Now that second company had been in business 17 years. And I want you to think about this. 17 years that company had been in business. It was, it was a modest company. It was doing about $10 million a year at the time. There was nobody in that company that really had high-level network marketing experience. And a few of us transferred from the first company to that second company, and we blew that company up. They had no idea what was going on because they'd never seen people that really understood how to build a multi-level direct sales organization at a professional level. And we took that company from, about $1 million a month in sales when we started, to $1 million a day in sales in 3 years. Now, I want you to think about this. If you had an opportunity to be ahead of that kind of growth, what could it mean to you? And this is what I'm sharing with you about Zija today. Zija has been in development now for approximately 14 years. In that period of time, we've done well over $1 billion in sales. We've created an infrastructure and a foundation that makes us look like a company that's been around for, a couple of generations. We look like a company that's been in business 50, 60 years. Yet we're just, a small dot on the radar. Okay, we are, if you will, the best kept secret in network marketing, because we don't have the flash that attract so many people to this industry. And by virtue of that, we have the stability, the ability to be here for the long term. Now, all companies go through cycles. And I want you to sense, why this is such an urgent time, a significant time to be involved with Zija. We've gone through the various developmental stages that a long-term company is going to go through. We had, our initial formulation stages, and we had some significant growth. The focus of today's training is exactly what I did during that formulation stage. When I started in Zija, this is back at the beginning of 2008, real small company. We weren't doing anything. I mean, the previous year we'd done about $500,000 in sales, which is like nothing. Okay, matter of fact, if it wasn't for Ken Brailsford's checkbook, the company wouldn't be in business. I took the things I'm going to share with you this morning. I took these strategies and these philosophies, and I exercised the two most important ingredients to success in our industry, and I'm going to share that with you next. And within that first 12 months, I started at ground zero and was able to create a modest full-time income by the end of that year. Now, when I say modest, it wasn't huge, it was truck driver income, okay? But it was a full-time income. And I did that part-time from home, right where I'm sitting today. The second year, I compounded on that, and the income, my distributorship income went to over 6 figures, okay? That second year's income put me in the top, 8-10% of earners in the entire country. And then I simply did the same thing the third year. I compounded on the second year, and that third year's income accelerated. Literally, it was more than double the first 2 years combined. Now, here's what's really interesting. Without any kind of awareness of what was going to happen, I simply did the things that are necessary to do to build this kind of business. And in the fourth year, it was actually towards the end of that third year, we introduced, our first healthy weight management program. It was the sizzle and the buzz that got Zija accelerating. And because of I put in place the foundation of my organization in that fourth year. Even though I personally did not engage in that fourth year, there were personal things going on here at home. Many of you are aware I care for my elderly mother here at home, and we had some significant events there in that fourth year that caused me to kind of take my head out of the game. But because I'd put that in place in the fourth year of my Zija career, my income that 1 year was greater than the first 3 years combined. And it happened not because of what I was doing, but because of the foundation I'd laid before that. And then the company took on a major accelerated growth. Now, let's fast forward to today. We've, especially in the last few years, we have undergone a lot of changes in Zija, changes in terms of corporate team members, changes in terms of field leadership, distributor leadership, compensation plan, product offerings, and so on. Every step of that way has been a refinement on the previous situation. And today we are at a point in time where all the pieces are coming together. Corporate leadership, solidification of field leadership, impending compensation tweaks that are going to make it easier for people to create more income, focusing on the development of others. Entry into the CBD market with, a world-class product that's, people are struggling to even think about duplicating. You put all of that together, and what we are shaping up for right now is a 36-month run to accelerated growth. And so here's the good news. If you missed out on the first run, you get the second run. Okay, this second explosive growth. Many of you have and I'm looking at the people that are on the webinar. I'm not looking at you. I can't see you folks, but I can see the names of the people. There's a lot of you that have been honing your skills, refining your your philosophy, refining your daily method of operation, and you are on a great path to experience significant growth in your business over the next 3 to 5 years. For people like myself, the advantage I had during that first little mini growth curve is I already knew what to do. And so I just did it and took advantage of it. And those first 3 years set me up for the rest of my life. Many of you have been going through that process of learning, personal development of your team and so on, development of your skill sets, your leadership, and what you will experience relative to what I experienced, there's no comparison. The massive growth, the increase that's going to be available to you is going to just absolutely shatter anything that I did. And what I'm telling you is that each one of you have the ability to be that story. For many years, I was a story in Zija, okay? And not because I'm particularly special. I knew what to do, and I did it. That's it. Nothing fancy about that. But the results created a story. Many of you will become the stories that they will tell about in Zija long after stories like mine have been forgotten. You will be those stories. So let's talk about the primary ingredients to success, and then I'm going to get into some specifics. There are 2 things, and you should put these in your notes. There are 2 things that will absolutely guarantee your success if you are willing to do it. Okay, and it's going to be so simple, it's going to blow your mind, and you're going to have a hard time believing it. But I'm asking you for a moment to kind of, set aside, the natural instinct to be hypercritical, to be, to not be able to believe in big things. Here are the the 2 things that I brought to the table in my Zija business that were responsible for every part of what I have. Okay. Number 1, write this in your notes. Consistency of effort. Our business is like so many other things in life, okay? If you stay with it, if you are consistent on a daily basis, it is almost impossible not to see results. Probably the only thing I can think of is if you're consistently doing the wrong thing every day, guess what? You're going to get the wrong results. But if you are consistent on a daily basis, it is inevitable that you will succeed. Okay, number 2, persistence. Persistency, the ability to stay with it long enough. And probably another way to say that is just don't quit. Now, why did a guy like me, 35 years ago, much younger guy, truck driver, join a company, put everything I had into it for for 2 years, and had to leave it because the company was not at a point in time where I was going to be able to experience significant growth, and then joined another company that really didn't show any signs of being, the great deal, but we made it the great deal and made a lot of money in that. I mean, I literally retired 10 years after I started in the industry. What was special about me? Nothing. Okay. I was willing to work. Okay. I had good work ethics. I was willing to learn. Instead of trying to figure out the deal, I went to the people that had clearly demonstrated their understanding by virtue of the results they had. So I learned from people that were already doing it right. And I had a burning white hot desire to succeed. There was nothing that was going to cause me to quit. Those were my only attributes. And what made all that come together? Consistency of effort on a daily basis, persistency, doing it until it was done. I just didn't quit. And I'm going to tell you right now, folks, you start looking at some of the top people in our profession, you'll find that the only thing that they have as a claim to fame are the attributes: willing to work, willing to learn, burning desire to succeed, and that those two ingredients of consistency of effort and persistency of effort. Now, let me give you a few things that might help clarify this. I've been on a personal physical development journey, and at my age, it's not that easy, right? I'm 106 years old, and it's not that easy to get back in the gym, especially when I never was a gym guy. I was never that kid that was in sports. I was never that kid that was in the gym. Really my only claim to any kind of athletic endeavor was when I was 13. I joined the city's youth tennis club thing, right? And frankly, that had a whole lot more to do with 13-year-old girls in short skirts. I'm just being honest, okay? Because I was never that guy. What I have found is that you can develop pretty much anything you desire if you do it consistently. Now, there's been many, many days that, I'd head off to the gym and any excuse would work. I mean, quite frankly, a lot of times, more often than not, I'm not that interested in going to the gym, okay? But I made a commitment to going to the gym 3 times a week. And once I make that commitment, I'm not going to stop that commitment. And so instead of, what will it take to get me to go to the gym today? The question is, girls in skirts on those. Yeah, Daryl. My buddy Daryl just said, girls in skirts is understandable at 13. Yeah, I get Daryl. Daryl gets me. Anyway, so sorry, I got distracted. I was looking at the chat box. Let me set that aside a little bit. Instead of, what do I need to motivate me to get to the gym? The question is, what would cause me not to go to the gym? It's too cold outside. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I got lots of things to do. I don't feel like it. I got a little cold. Whatever. What are all the reasons that would keep you from doing it? Okay. And just make a decision that none of those reasons will keep you from doing it. Here's another way to look at it. I'm going to do the gym 3 days a week, no matter what. No matter what. And why? Because the end result is important enough to put in the time between now and then. And so when you're formulating your Zija business, think about this. What's important enough to keep you from creating financial security for your family? What's important enough to keep you from creating an environment where you no matter where your children want to go to school, no matter what your children need, no matter what your family needs, or whatever it is, the most important things to you, what is it that would be important enough to cause you not to take care of those important things? And for me, I just made a decision. It was no matter what. So, my schedule here, I oftentimes start my day at 4 or 5 in the morning. Get a lot of stuff done before mom wakes up. I try and grab a little 30-minute power nap before I head off to the gym. Alarm goes off. I wake up. I'm thinking, what day is it? Where am I? Whatever. And I just automatically throw on the gym clothes and go. And I got to tell you, there are times I jump in my car and head up the hill to my gym, and I'm probably not really safe because I'm only half awake. Okay. But no matter what, I'm going to put in that time. And part of what my mind process is I know I'm going to feel better when I leave the gym than when I show up. Okay. You can create these habits by simply doing it over and over again. Now, translate that to your Zija business. You know that the foundation of building this kind of business is, sharing our products and sharing our opportunity. Well, instead of trying to, share our products with a dozen people today, why not just share them with one? No matter what. No matter what you have to do, find one person that you can share our products with. Same thing, with the opportunity. Instead of trying to, prospect 10 or 12 or 15 people today, how about just one? And maybe, and this is one of the other little tricks that I've used, maybe it's not so important the results, but rather the effort. And one of the things, I'm part of that test product program for the Zija Genetic Wellness Kit, which is due to be launched here in 4 from 11 is 7 days. Actually, yeah, 7 days, right? So, is that right? You guys must love watching me do math in my head, huh? Anyway, it's about to be launched real soon. And I've been part of that test pilot project. And one of the things that I learned about that is that, the importance of cardio, which, honestly, I'm not a big cardio guy. I've never quite understood that deal. Running and nobody's chasing you. What's up with that? The importance of cardio as far as my genetic makeup. And so I made a commitment to do cardio on a regular basis. And there have been times, I'm going to be real candid with you, where it was real easy to blow off the cardio. And I did, okay, because there was always a good reason for it. As I've gotten better at honing that, those muscles of mindset to do the cardio, I've found that for me personally, sometimes even when I'm going, I'm not, it's too tired, I don't have enough time, whatever. There have been times I've jumped on the exercise bicycle for 5 minutes instead of 30 minutes, or 10 minutes instead of, the 45 that was planned on it. Not because I felt that was going to actually do much, but rather I was trying to develop the do-it muscles, okay? Consistency of effort. And so sometimes maybe it's not so much that you prospected somebody for your product or opportunity, but you at least picked up the phone and made a call and you got a voicemail, okay? Whatever it takes to develop consistency of effort on a daily basis and maintain that focus of persistence. Don't be that person that's going to try it for a month or try it for a year, okay? One of the interesting things, and I'm not going to swear that these statistics are accurate, but it's certainly from the perspective, the appearance is like this. The vast majority of people, maybe 80%, maybe more, that will start a multi-level venture will not complete their first year, and that's just a reality. Okay, that's the numbers. Now, of those that go on to their second year, the vast majority of them won't complete their second year. What's the percentage? I don't know, 80, 90%, something like that. I don't know what the numbers are to be accurate, but you know what? That's what it looks like. Here's what's really interesting. For the people, the small percentage that continue on into the third year, all the money that's available in network marketing is left over for those that stick around. And so if you want, the 2 keys to success, be that person that develops consistency on a daily basis and a commitment to just not quit. That's probably the singular thing that I can say about my success in this company, is that I just didn't quit. Now, what y'all came for here are specifics, to-do lists, how to, okay? And I'm going to cover that over the next few minutes, and then we'll do a few questions and answers if you folks have some questions, okay? I want you to look at the year 2020 as the building block for the next 3 to 5 year game plan. This is the foundation. The interesting thing is that The foundation is the most important part of the building. Okay, I don't care how nice the, from the ground floor up looks, what the penthouse suite looks like. If you don't have the foundation, you've got nothing that's going to stick around. This is the foundational year. I want you to consider breaking your year down into 4 quarters. And, fortunately, we're already programmed, quarter 1, quarter 2, whatever. This is going to be really important because you can't focus on 365 days. But every, successful network marketer has approached it this way. Focus on shorter blocks of time with, reasonable goals, expectations, game plan, and then compound on that. I'm going to give you a little formula, but I encourage you to, in your notes, write this down. Go to my YouTube channel. Go to, Fred Holmes Zija, youtube.com, Fred Holmes Zija, and then look for the playlist tab. Click on the playlist tab. You'll see 4 videos there, and especially for those of you maybe that are just, taking a look at Zija, and never been involved in the industry. Maybe you've been involved in the industry, but never had, higher level training. Go to those 4 videos. You're going to find those extremely helpful to you. The first one is 30 minutes long. It's new distributor training. It's what we do and how we do it. Take the time to master that, folks. That's really the most important thing I've taught over the years. There's 3 additional little videos there. I call them, combined, the fast start training, how to build a prospect list, but doing it like professionals, how to develop your Zija story, and then the 90-day game plan. I really encourage you to take in that. It's 10 minutes long. Take in that 90-day game plan. It's going to be very helpful to you. And then within the YouTube channel itself, you'll see a search box. You should search for previous trainings search with DMO, Daily Method of Operation, so you can develop correct activities consistently on a daily basis. Look for 90-day game plan training. But here's the concept. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 4. And you can even write it in your notes. I'm going to just do it in big, bold letters so that you can see it here real quick. If you grasp this concept, it will really help you understand how a fellow like me can build a business. And, I don't know what the numbers are, folks, but I'm going to guess that, somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe 10% of, maybe more, of all of Zija, all the customers that are in Zija, 10+% of that's in my organization. And I'm not saying that to brag, but to illustrate, first of all, I can't brag. It wasn't about me. Okay. What I have done is I put in place an environment that's attracted some really, really good people to make me look really good. Okay. Let's see if I can show this to you here. There we go. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 6. I'm going to leave it up there for a second. You need to write this down. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 6. Now, if you were to do something as simple as focus for the next quarter on developing 2 strong people. Get 2 people that are strong, get them to, bronze. Let's say bronze, okay? Now, that's 90 days to get 2 people developed to the beginnings of leadership. Now, how many people is it going to take to find those 2? I don't know. Okay, the first 2 people you find might be the ones you're looking for. You might have to talk to, 5, 10, 20. I don't know how many people you're going to have to talk to. It depends on you. All right. I will tell you, you can improve your odds, improve your success ratio by focusing on talking to the right people. Okay, who are the right people? People like you. People who have come here because they have high levels of desire for success and financial security and personal health and well-being, and you're the type of person that likes helping other people. Look for people that have already demonstrated higher levels of success already in their life. Okay, it's real simple. Somebody who's successful at one thing will tend to be successful at another thing. Those personality traits are transferable from one, endeavor to another. But however many people you need to talk to, let's focus on just getting 2 people established in your Zija business. Now, if that was your goal for the first 90 days, I think most people would believe that if you're committing, 5 or 10 hours a week to your Zija business, that's a reasonable expectation. On the first month, this month of January, I would put all of my focus into sharing the opportunity, sharing the product too, because some of our best distributors were originally our customers, okay? Do both. But put all of your energy into focusing on finding new people. Then in month 2, in February, focus on identifying the people from that first class, the freshman class is what we tend to call it, that really want to do the deal. And then once you've identified them, start developing them. And then in that 3rd month of March, build some depth underneath them. Get them solidified. Get them to bronze. And frankly, if you find them in January, you might be able to get them to silver, or get them to gold. Now, once you get those 2 people in, the next step in the 2nd quarter is to help them find their 2. Help them find their 2. And then you'll have 4 people that you can work with that'll be solid distributors. And then in the 3rd quarter, help those 4 people get their 2. Okay, I'm going back to the simple duplication model. 2 times 2 is 4 times 2. If you were to continue that process, by the end of 2020, you could have 16 solid, successful, engaged, enthusiastic distributors. And I'm going to tell you right now, David Moses can probably count, 16 rock solid people in his organization. Now, it's taken, he's been at this for, 10, 12 years now and developed those people. But imagine where your business would go in 2021 if you ended this year with, a dozen or 15 rock solid Builder 500 legs. That would be powerful. And how do you do that, folks? It all goes back to the simplicity of what it is we do. Be consistent on a daily basis. Be persistent. Do not quit. Focus on the fundamentals, sharing our product, sharing our opportunity, and teaching others to do the same. So, it's so important for me for you to understand, and I think this has everything to do with my awareness of what's going to happen with this company. This has been a dream come true to me. Finding Zija was the dream that was never fulfilled my first time around in network marketing. To be part of a company that had the same, character, the same values that I had, that would be around long after I was gone. Finding Zija was a dream come true. Being part of Zija, both with the good times and the challenging times, has been a dream. But most importantly is what's about to happen. The next few years with this company is going to set so many of you up for the rest of your life. You have no idea how things change when you no longer worry about, is there money coming in tomorrow? Will my boss fire me if I tell him exactly what I think of him? Right? That's why I didn't do real well working for the county. I tended to be very free sharing my opinions with my supervisors. Interesting, huh? So let's do this. Let's take a couple of minutes. If you have a question, I'm going to go through the chat box here and see if anything popped up that I didn't notice. If you have a question, write it in the chat box. I'll see if I can do something with it. What I am going to do here is we're going to close down here in a couple of minutes. I'm going to take a little break, check in on Mom. We're going to come right back right at the top of the hour, 11 o'clock Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. We're going to do a short team-wide meeting, okay? This is the first Saturday of the first period of 2020. It's a great time to, get focused as an organization. When I say team-wide meeting, I'm not talking about my team. Anybody participates, okay? You know, in any organization, you know, I believe actually one of the greatest things I see happening with Zija today is all organizations are becoming the organization of Zija. I'm very excited. I'm going to have Reed Nelson join me at the top of the hour for our team-wide meeting. We'll give a few, you know, pointers, you know, a couple of announcements, a few pointers on the focus that we should all be doing over the next, you know, 28 days. That's the most important thing, is to have a game plan and focus for the 28 days. Reed Nelson, he's a legend. Okay, he's a legend in this industry. One of the most humble people I've ever met, but you know, the results speak for themselves. Okay, Reed and Yvonne have been, you know, high level earners for I think 40 plus years. But you know, having somebody like Reed as part of the organization, I mean, it's humbling to think of. It's actually kind of interesting to be in Zija, and so many of the people that I've followed over the years, the industry that I looked up to, going, oh man, those people are so cool and they've done so well. They're now part of Zija. Is that cool or what? All right, let's see here. Like the song, Happy New Year, Happy New Year. Aloha, Gina. Welcome home to Maui. Hone and refine on activities, get ahead of this growth curve. Danielle, the board, she made a real important point. Be ahead of the growth curve. Okay. I grew up in Southern California, not a surfer, but I grew up in Southern California, and I understand that concept. You don't want to sit and watch the wave go by. You don't want to be there as the wave's hitting. You want to be ahead of it if you want to be along for the ride. Let's see, if no questions, might be valuable to share a story of someone that exemplifies the example of walking someone through the program like you drew out in the example, perhaps, maybe. Okay, I could probably do that in a couple of minutes. Let's see, when is a good time to get started as a customer distributor? How do we refocus to grow our business? You're awesome, Fred. All right. Let's see. Let's do this one because this is probably a little bit more reasonable for now. And Eric, let's see. Touch base with me, Eric. I'd like you, because you've done a great job too. Eric Bailey is one of our distributors that's demonstrated the ability to be consistent over a prolonged period of time, that sort of thing. Eric, maybe me and you can do a training together here in the next upcoming weeks, and we'll cover that. When's a good time to get started as a customer or distributor? Yesterday, last week, last month, last year. When's the best time to get started with as a customer? If you know, I started as a customer, okay, because we're all customers, you know, 12 years ago. In the last 12 years, well, I'm 12 years older. I look 12 years younger. I'm in way better health, and I've lost almost 40 pounds. So when's the best time to start as a customer? Yesterday, last week, last month, last year. When's the next best time? Now. Okay. When's the best time to start as a distributor? You know, honestly, if you were me, knew what to do, had already refined those skills of, you know, consistency of effort, persistency, and so on, several years ago. But most of you aren't. Most of you haven't been million-dollar earners in network marketing. What's the best time to start as a distributor? Today. Okay, because you have time. If you work with the people that can show you, you can leverage other people's experience. You can start today building that foundation so that, you know, in 2001, 2002, as the company starts to, you know, gain momentum, you can be part of that team that'll carry us to $1 billion a year. I don't know if I can, you know, share that any better than that. Eric, in response to what you're talking about, a lot of this has to do, I'm led an awful lot by the people that are brought into the business, okay? Some people want to move fast. Some people want to move slow. I believe that the greatest thing we can do is to, number one, offer a bigger vision of what's available than the person may have at this point in time. And that's done through step 3, third-party validation. Okay, invitation, presentation, validation. The more people, this was probably one of the big advantages I had, not probably, was. When I was first introduced to network marketing, the person that introduced me was already $1 million earner. It never occurred to me to dabble a little bit and see if I could make some money. I wanted to have what he had. I wanted to be $1 million earner. I wanted to be able to provide for my family the way he was providing for his. I wanted to have the time freedom to spend with my kids like he did with his. Okay. The way you create that bigger vision is through third-party validation. So be comfortable talking to all of your upline that can provide that. If you can't provide that vision for your new person, be engaged with the people that can on a daily basis. I'll tell you who gets my attention: new distributor that calls me. Why? Because they're me. That's what I did when I first started. I was reaching out to all of the top income earners that I could find, introducing myself, tell them how much I appreciated their training. It wasn't to smack up, it was to become part of that circle so I could learn from them. Probably the next thing we could do is to give them a game plan. Now, many of you aren't sure what your game plan is. Make it simple. Here's what I do, and this is why it's important to be part of new distributor training every Saturday morning, because we've talked about many of these things over the, it's been, well, I've done a new Saturday morning new distributor training for over a dozen years, every Saturday, except for the days that, somebody else does it, right? But, 3 steps: get in, get trained, get going. Okay, get in, get trained, get going. Use the compensation plan as a model of activities. Get a brand new person in, 3 and free. First 3 periods, 3 and free. So let's focus on getting 3 new people for them so they can get their free auto ship. And let's do it 3 weeks or 3 periods in a row. And then we move into the P20 and the E40 program. So in period 4, they should have enough momentum going that the folks should be, let's get you to P20. Be able to get continue your free auto ship, and let's go to P40s and get the extra, $250 a period, and the rank advancements, and developing people underneath them. Keep it simple, because it becomes duplicatable. Let's see, Danielle, how do you handle people who may not have the funds to get larger package? They want to wait. Should they get started smaller and just get started? That's a great question, Daryl. Daryl asked the question, how do you handle people that want to start with a bigger package and need to wait till they get funds? Okay, it really depends on why they want a bigger package. Okay, I think too often we make the package the issue in people's success. I started with the biggest package. Okay, why? Because I could. And there's a lot of reasons for it. I want enough product for myself. I want to have enough product to sample out. I wanted to set the pace for my team. Nobody's going to do something that you didn't do. And I had a credit card. Okay. Well, I had the cash, but why would I finance starting my business with my money? I financed it with American Express's money, right? That's the smart money. Now, and a tax write-off. Any interest is tax write-off. Now, what do you do with the person that can't do that? Start where they can. Okay, and if we're talking about they need to wait, are we talking about waiting till Friday? Because if we're waiting till Friday, that might be okay if they have a good reason for starting with a bigger package. In today's Zija, that is not nearly as much of an issue. Okay, they maybe could start with the 250 PV package, put a couple of bundles together. I always like to approach it this way. When I've got somebody that's talking about, I want to save up $1,300 for the biggest package, and how long did it take you to save $1,300 the last time? Well, I've never done that. I've never been able to save that amount of money. Well, that kind of is going to predict where they're going to be. What could you start with today? Because if it's going to take you a month or 2 months or 3 months to save up the money, let's start with something today, because look at all the money we're going to make between now and then. Okay, that's kind of how I would approach that. That's a great question, Darryl. And again, in today's Zija, be very clear on this. It is less important what package you start with, and it is more important that you get started. All of the previous reasons I use, start with as much as you can. Start with enough to, for your own personal consumption, build your story, get product into some of your family members, get some more stories, get enough product that you can be sampling out. All of that's important. Pick a package that you would want your team members to start with. Okay, nobody's going to, if you start with one case of super mix, nobody's going to start with the builder premium package. Okay, then people will tend to do what you do. Well, what's the most important thing? Get started. That's the most important thing. All right, I've gone over the time I intend to go over. I need to take a little break here, folks. We will start back up in 7 minutes, right at the top of the hour. You can either just stay logged in, or you can, re-log in if you want. The link will stay active. But excited to do our new distributor team meeting. It'll be a short meeting, and I'll have Reed Nelson with me, and I encourage you to stay on board. All right, we'll talk soon.